So I think I'm going to be needing a surrogate, and I even got my RE's approval for it. But how can people even afford surrogacy? I don't think I can even afford it right now. If this is a question you're asking yourself, stay tuned. You don't want to miss a second because this video is going to be extremely helpful. Welcome, That's Just Tara family. This is Melissa, Tara's mom. And today we're going to have another subject on surrogacy. Yes, I know that I said I was going to maybe skip the whole holiday season and get back, but I could not just really skip this one because if I didn't talk about this today, I was just going to explode. Okay, I really needed to let it out. Let's get into it. Please remember that this vlog is only for entertainment purposes only, especially this video right here is not set or was not made to provide any professional advice on legal, financial, mental health, infertility, surrogacy, IVF matters, or any other professional advice related to it. It's just for entertainment purposes, and this is my opinion. Why do I make videos on surrogacy? Well, this is a series that I decided to add to my channel as a way to make the channel more resourceful for others. You're going to see a whole bunch of other playlists. Just go to the playlist tab. There's going to be a whole bunch of other things, even related to mental health. So go ahead and take advantage of that. But right now, we're going to be focusing on this today. Please remember that after watching this video or after going through any other learning experience through any other videos, it's ultimately your responsibility, any decision that you make when it comes to the surrogacy journey as an intended parent. Throughout all of my infertility, IVF, and surrogacy videos, I advocate for both surrogates and intended parents equally. Why? Because I think it's the most fair way to engage in discussions like this, keeping it really fair for everyone. And also really quick, again, you're going to be able to find this video under the playlist IVF, infertility, and more. You're going to be able to find that playlist at the very end of this video in an end to call action. You know, those little group of rectangles that appear at the end of the video. Sometimes you're going to be able to find it there, and you also be able to find the link to the playlist in the description. You're going to be able to find the link there. Well, why are these videos that I make useful in my opinion? I think it's because, not only because I advocate for both intended parents and surrogates, also because I give out a perspective that a lot of people don't give. Usually you see a lot of videos with like how beautiful the journey is, but there are sometimes roadblocks that all parties face, which can lead to a possible and hopefully not, dark side of it in case somebody has to face it. So I think they're useful because once you watch them, you can actually just maybe have a new perspective, a new fresh way to think about how things can go. Maybe by reaching out to legal professionals, reaching out to fertility professionals in order for you to make a wise decision. First and foremost, we're going to be going through the expected and unexpected expenses. Then we're going to be going through all the financial options, or most of them. You can keep adding to the list. And last but not least, I'm going to be giving a conclusion and like a formal opinion of what I think you should do in these cases. But remember, this is just an opinion, and this video is only for entertainment purposes. It's ultimately your decision and your responsibility what you end up doing for you and your family. So remember, if you want to be reminded of when new videos are going to come out, remember to subscribe, hit the bell, and also hit the like button, because once you do that, you're going to be able to get more impressions from this channel, so that you'll be able to get notified every time that there's a new video. Okay, for the expenses, if you are a female and you are going to be using your own eggs, you have to think about, you need to have to pay a fee for those embryos, for the storage of your embryos. Now, if you are a single intended father, or a female part of a relationship or a marriage that is going to use an egg donor, well, yes, remember that you have to separate the fees and the compensation for the surrogate, if it's going to be a compensated surrogacy rather than a altruistic journey. Regardless of using a surrogate that for example, if it's a relative or a friend, regardless of that, it doesn't matter if it's a person that you know well, it doesn't matter if it's a surrogate that you found through an agency or through maybe a group online, you have to make sure that you are responsible for the legal side of it. You have to be responsible financially for your lawyer, and you have to be responsible for also getting the lawyer for your surrogate. And remember, the type of lawyer that you need is an assisted reproductive technology lawyer, known as ART lawyer, or basically also known as a fertility lawyer. So you have to remember about that. You have to remember that you have to have money aside too for the background checks. This applies for even if the person, because the clinics are going to ask you for it. Also, the psychological evaluation. Psychological evaluations are not cheap at all. So you're going to have to save money for that. And this applies also if it's a relative of yours. You have to make sure that you set aside money for the medical screening. And sometimes the medical screening involves traveling expenses, especially if your surrogate is out of state. You have to make sure that you're prepared for the expenses of biopsies, also hysteroscopies, during which maybe certain conditions that are not disqualifiers but have to be taken care of will require for those expenses to be made. Like, for example, discovery of polyps, discovery of chronic endometritis. And trust me, you guys, let me tell you really quick, this is a little bit hard to do sometimes, because this is my script right here. It's really crazy. I don't use a teleprompter, and I do memorize some things because I do know some things. I use this as a reference, but this is a little bit crazy. So I apologize if anything feels a little bit out of order. I'm trying to do my best here. Okay, again, as far as traveling expenses, especially if you're a surrogate if out of state, you have to make sure that you are prepared to cover the traveling expenses, lodging, meals, and all that for your surrogate. Also, even if your surrogate is in your own state, or it's a person that you know or what have you, you have to be prepared for repeat embryo transfers, because it is not guaranteed that the first time will work. You have to be prepared for expenses for mock cycles and eras if your clinic requires it, which I absolutely respect clinics that they do, because it makes things so much easier. And it is, if it's offered to you, take advantage of it. I know that it makes things a little bit more expensive, but it really gives you more peace of mind. Remember, embryo transfers cost money too. So if you can just take care of things now, you may be able to save a lot of money by not doing so many repeat transfers. Even if your surrogate has currently a surrogacy friendly insurance, you have to be prepared to cover meds, because there are things that happen. Sometimes things are not covered. And you got to remember, if you want a consultation from that, you have to reach out to Art Risk. Those are the people that will help you get situated with finding the right medical insurance for your surrogate if she does not have one. Quick reminder, this video is only for entertainment purposes. No professional advice is offered here. Entertainment, opinion based. So far, if you have found this video valuable, even though I do not label it as informational or educational, I label it as entertaining. Still, if you found it valuable, hit the like button, because it helps it be bumped, to like for other people to see that really need it. Also, you have to be prepared for loss of wages or loss of salary for surrogate. If your surrogate decides to make sure that she gets compensated back for all those hours from work that she lost. Not every surrogate does it, but some do. You have to make sure also that you are prepared financially to cover the costs of childcare in the case that, for example, their child is out of school and she needs a babysitter while she is attending an appointment, and also during bed rest. If your surrogate falls on bed rest for X or Y reason, you have to make sure that you're prepared to cover the costs of weekly housekeeping and childcare. And of course, there are limits with that, so you would have to consult that with your own lawyer. I am just telling you some of the items that you have to remember and keep in mind. If your surrogate doesn't have life insurance, it is highly recommended that you establish one for her. It helps cover you and helps cover her as well. It covers you. Why? In case something happens, God forbid, right? Then you would be able to use your portion to be able to get a jump start on your next attempt to have a child of your own. And then the portion for the surrogate side, it would be for the person that the surrogate assigns as a beneficiary / caretaker for her child / children. Remember also, if medical insurance has not been established or due to certain coverage limits, you have to make sure to be prepared to cover all meds expenses. We're talking progesterone, we're talking estrogen, or how they call it, estradiol, Lupron, antibiotics, also enoxaparin, also known as Lovenox. Just so many medications that your surrogate may have to take. You have to be prepared to cover those too. You have to be prepared also for unexpected expenses at the end of a journey. Sometimes your surrogate will have to have a C-section, and we're not sure, how much of it the insurance will cover. But also the surrogate, in the case that the journey is compensated and not altruistic, then she would have to get paid a fee Also, if she has to get a hysterectomy or a partial loss of organs, if it's a compensated journey, she would have to get a fee also. So those are expenses that can just keep adding up, and you really need to be prepared. Also, if due to any life-threatening condition, your surrogate has to have an early termination, you have to be prepared also for that DNC procedure, especially if it's not covered by insurance, and if it's a compensated journey, you would have to be prepared to also do a reimbursement for the pain and suffering for your surrogate as well. When you are using an escrow house, which is a group of lawyers that take care of managing and keeping in a secure place your funds to be distributed to your surrogate when you have one, you have to make sure that you follow all the rules and all the terms in your contract, because if for some reason financially you are not keeping up with making sure that the escrow is funded with the minimum amount of money that it needs to be, and if for some reason you don't, right, and because of that you fail to pay your surrogate on time or not pay her at all, then according to what's written on your contract, you could end up being in a breach of contract, and that will just constitute a lot and create a lot of legal issues. So you want to make sure that you're prepared for that. And these are just some of the items. There's a whole bunch more. You would have to discuss that with your fertility professionals, okay? So I wanted to touch really quick before I get into the helps out there that are available or may be available, all the options. I want to get into really quick about, I believe it's a myth. So a lot of intended parents out there, they say that, they want to avoid hiring an agency because they say it's a lot of money and it would help them save a lot of money. The agency fee is only a tiny little bit compared to all the money that you're really going to need for that journey. And having an agency, in my opinion, can just take a lot of the stress and a lot of the headaches away. And I am telling you this from the bottom of my heart. I am not telling you you have to go get an agency. But I am telling you from the bottom of my heart, you will do so much better with one. Having an agency reduces, again, a lot of stress, in my opinion. And it's nothing, absolutely nothing, compared to all the money that you really need to have for the whole entire journey. Why is this? Because of all the unexpected expenses that I just mentioned. And when all those unexpected things happen, let me tell you something. You could have your lawyer and everything, but really the one person that's going to be for you around the clock, advocating for you and advocating for the surrogate, it's going to be the agency. Take advantage of that. How much money would you really need? A lot of people are going to tell you, well, save at least up to $125,000 or so. But if you want to know my opinion, if I was an intended parent, I would have at least on the side, 200,000. Again, because of all the unexpected expenses. There are so many things that can happen and can add up. You can't go wrong when you are more than prepared. And this amount of money, I'm referring to this amount of money, whether you have a surrogate or not. Okay? There's a lot of unexpected things that can happen, guys. Don't go anywhere because we're going to be talking now about the financial options. Remember, if you're enjoying this video and if you find it valuable, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. Remember that you can find this video and the rest of the videos that I have made for the IVF, infertility, and more playlist. You can find them at the end of this video on the end to call section on the little rectangle, or you can find them also in a link in the description below. Now let's get to the financial options. Okay, so a lot of people get additional credit cards and additional credit cards. Some people, in addition or just as an option, pull out from their retirement funds as well. Some people get loans and then more and more loans. Some people get second mortgages. Some people get additional jobs, side hustles, side gigs. Some people do fundraisers. Some people do raffles. Some people reach out to charity organizations. There are some fertility ones that may be able to help, but it's not guaranteed. Please remember that this video is only for entertainment purposes. In order to be able to get details and facts of everything in a professional manner, you need to reach out to professionals or companies that are related to the information that I provided today. Some people out there get jobs with fertility benefits, and it is being said, there is a rumor, might be true, it might be true, but you need to confirm yourselves by reaching out to these companies, okay? Not from me, because I could be telling you a lie right now, right? Confirm these things with them. Okay, so it is being said that Amazon may cover donor eggs, embryo creation, PGT testing, and the IP's legal side. There is also a rumor that says that Starbucks and maybe Target may offer also third-party fertility benefits. Also, another way that you can get information is by joining groups on Facebook, for example, that talk about the different ways in which you can manage IVF and surrogacy expenses, you guys. Now, please remember, do not rely on what I am saying. Do not rely fully on what people say online. You have to reach out to the professionals. Now, let's get to the conclusion. If you would ever ask me, Melissa, do you think, I know that rarely, I don't know if you would like to know my opinion, but if you do, if you happen to want my opinion on whether I recommend or not getting a relative as a surrogate, I'll tell you right now, and I'll be honest. Back in the day, I used to think, well, if a person can't afford the portion of the surrogate's compensation in the case that the journey is compensated, then yes, it is great to have a relative or a friend. But even though it happens, and sometimes as a last resort, people just do it. But I personally don't recommend it. But now, for example, I could be an intended parent, for example, and if I had no other options, I would probably end up having my childhood best friend or a relative be my surrogate, It's just, I don't really recommend it. I just don't think it's the way to go because things could go down south very fast. And one of those things is the expectations and how boundaries could be broken and how things can change overnight during the pregnancy and post birth. So if you want to know more about this, I made 2 videos. One is has to do with the communication between surrogate and intended parents. I'm going to try to put an info card here. If you don't see it here, you're going to be able to find the link to that video in the description. And also, I made a video on what happens when surrogates are not allowed to see baby or have contact or visitation with baby. That's a very important one. You really want to see that one. I'm going to try to put the info card here on top. If you don't see it there, check it down in the description. You're going to be able to understand much more of why I'm telling you this. And last but not least, if you have your doubts on whether you can actually really afford surrogacy, don't do it. Maybe the universe is telling you that right now is not really the time. Why? I'll tell you my opinion. It's because when you put your family through that financial pressure, through that extreme loss, not only you, your surrogate, your family could experience a lot of an emotional roller coaster and a lot of issues. But that baby can end up suffering too. If that baby is missing the things that they need in life. Okay? So I'm gonna ask you from the bottom of my heart, don't just think about your desire. Just think about that little life too. If now it's not the time, if you can't afford the technology, then reconsider the option for the future, or reconsider other options such as adoption in case that you can't see being able to use this technology. And it's not because everybody charges a lot for surrogacy. It's just everything that's required for it. The doctors, the procedures, the machines that are being utilized, all those things are not free. The equipment, all that technology, all the time and energy used and the pain gone through, none of that is easy. All of it takes effort and money. So if you feel like you can afford it, don't do it. Because then it will add stress to your relationship, to your life, or to your marriage, and to the baby. Wait for the right time. Thank you so much for watching today. If you feel like you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more. Have a wonderful day.